welcome to the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and we can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm your girl Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Per don't have anything to drink today. Didn't grab anything. Not really that thirsty, so it's okay. But what I did have and what I did grab, which is the most important thing, is my cup mug. And that makes me being since I'm the only one here, that makes it a panel full of cup mugs. Panel full of cup mugs. Uh, 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 uh. I love celebrating by myself. I love a party by myself. I'm sorry, that's just me. I am. But you can party with me and get your cup mug at or any of our beautiful cup merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically, so there are no excuses. Get your cup merch, period. And I am here to talk about the House of Villains season finale, which I knew it was going to be good. I knew it was going to be wild. And it delivered for me personally. It delivered for me. And, I'm excited to talk about it. But before I do, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to click the link, the subscribe button below. Subscribe to this channel and all of our other channels. We have 4 total channels. And so all those links will be in the description below in our link tree. So you can click those links and subscribe to all of our channels. We appreciate all the support. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video when it drops. We are at the end of the year. We got this finale. We have Survivor finale. Earlier we got 3 or 4 other finales on our drag channel happening. So the finales are happening. So we got our end of the year videos getting ready to come out, wrapping up this beautiful 2024, or not so beautiful 2024, about how you look at it, but a great year for television for me, a great year for drag, a great year for Eurovision and wrestling. All those channels are represented here under the Cup umbrella. So make sure you follow all of our channels. Hit the subscribe, the notification bell so you can catch all of our end of the year reviews and all of those things. You should also subscribe to hit our audio podcast links. All those audio podcast links will be up there in there. Words hard, but if you click the audio podcast links, follow us on any way you listen to your podcasting needs. You can check out all of our content there, as well as our Patreon, where we give you early access to our end of the year videos and exclusive content across all the channels. So do all those things, support this channel. Go follow us on all of our socials at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. So that's that. So let's dive right into this finale of House of Villains. We knew coming off of the hit list ceremony that this was going to be a little explosive because West and Jesse left us gagged, but going back and forth with each other about, loyalties and who's a coward, who's not a coward, who brought their daughter into this, and who brought their family into what. It was chaotic. And it was obvious that certain people of the house were choosing sides about who they believed, who they didn't believe, who took things too far, who didn't. And it was interesting to see how the house was shaking out and dealing with everything going on between West and Jesse. And so once everybody got back in the house and was trying to decompress from what happened and getting themselves prepared for the redemption challenge the next day, we had some conversations where Larsa and Victoria was like, is that how we look when we argue? Oh my God, I don't want to look like that. And Larsa was like, oh no, I love you. And, you know, I get trying to smooth things over to try to get votes just in case you need it, but the fakery of it all. Watching it is like, oh, the fakeness. Because They don't like each other. Larsa don't like that woman. Victoria don't like that woman. And it is what it is. They just don't like each other. It's fine. I would rather you just say you don't like each other and keep it pushing, keep it moving, instead of, oh no, we love each other. Oh my God. No. But whatever. Um really everything that happened up until the redemption challenge was not a lot. Um Bed swaps, Victoria and her, she wants to sleep in the foyer, quickly changed. She was like, I can't really sleep here. It's too noisy. So Tiffany, can I sleep with you? And it's wild. It's just crazy. Um, let's just get to the redemption challenge because honestly that's the most part that happened. That was the best part that started. So we revealed that who Eva 2.0 is one of the housewives from Salt Lake City who got told, like, I've been here, like, I don't watch the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, but you hear, you know, how you hear stuff, receipts, moment, da da da, da da da. I've seen that meme so many times, the receipts, timelines, seen that so many times. Now I know where it came from. And she was the one who got that used against her because they said she was a rat and she, you know, got into friend groups just to be shady. It isn't. But it's obvious Teresa was not feeling this girl. She was like, she's a rat. Don't like her. And Garcia is her name. Monica Garcia, I think. But she was revealed to be Eva 2.0, and she was there to announce that the premise of the game, which is called arch enemies, and what they had to do was a list of things that people had said about them behind their backs, and so they had to guess who said what and use these blocks to put it in order and make an arch. And so you had to put the list of who said what about you in order and make this arch. Simple enough. It's a survivor type ish game. We've seen them do the arch words in Survivor where the team had to hold them up and try to get it to stay up. It's kind of hard. It's hard. If you're not tall, have a good wingspan, and you know, it's hard to make the arch stay. And then you have to, on top of that, you have to make sure you're getting it in the right order. But we saw so many different, you know, ways people got the arch up. They finally, got it up. Tiffany took a minute. New York took a minute to get it, and so did Larsa. But they figured it out and, got it up the best they could. We saw Larsa getting a little snippy with production about how stupid this was, and they were taking too long to check and just stuff. Um, Other than that, it just came down to the fact that who was going to get it the fastest, and the person that got it the fastest was Wes. He was the Redemption Challenge winner, and so it was now going to be Wes, Safari, and Jesse in the final three to try to get the $200,000. Not surprised. I'm not surprised Wes won this. This was pretty much built for Wes to just, all it really is figuring out the order. I knew he could get the arch right. He's tall enough. He got the wingspan. His hands are big enough to create it. So I knew it was a matter of time. And congratulations to Wes. He did that. He ate that. And so now it was time to get down to it. It was time to get down to politicking around the house, trying to get votes, trying to get people to talk, to give their vote to you. And so Jesse was talking to people, his conversation with Larissa, please God. Nobody knows what that woman is talking about. I don't even know if she knows what she's talking about. But Jesse definitely did not know what she was talking about. She was just going on, and just to get the vote, I will vote. But she promised to vote for Jesse in the end, I think. But it was very confusing. She also had a conversation with Wes. Wes tried to get her to vote. Wes was talking to everybody. Wes tried to talk to New York, talk to Candy, talk to Richard. Um, the conversation he had with Richard I found very intriguing because Wes admitted that this was the first time he was going into a finale where there was a jury. He has never played a game where there was a jury in the end, and he didn't know how he could appeal to a jury. And Richard was trying to let him know. He was like, look, when I was on Survivor, I got through to people by telling them what I did to them. Like I was upfront, honest. This is what I did. This is how I played you, and I feel like since I played you, you should allow me to win this game. And I mean, sound advice, because I know for any jury, the jury just wants to hear what you did in the game. And sometimes they respect it, sometimes they don't. It's a 50-50 shot. You just have to know, you have to read the room. You have to know who your jurors are. And that's the best advice. I think you have to know who your jurors are. And you figure that out by watching how they play the game. If they go off of emotion, you know this is an emotional jury. And you need to appeal to their emotions and appeal to what they need to get that vote. And if they are um someone who are like, we about the game, what's the game, who, they are all about who played the best game, then you can appeal to them with strategy and truths about what you did to get them out the game. Now if they bitter, they just bitter, and there's not a whole lot you can do. You can just say your piece and wish for the best. But you just have to read the room. You have to read the room and know who you're talking to and what this group is about. And so what Richard said something that was very interesting to me. He was like, I've been waiting to meet you. And I think in that head to head with you and Jesse, I finally met you. Because Wes has been holding back his a little bit of his villainous side and keeping most of the villain in the confessionals and not outward. So seeing him raise his voice and get upset with Jesse was a little new for some people. They were like, oh, we didn't know you had it. Same thing for Jesse. I think a lot of people didn't know Jesse had that in him. And so it's kind of wild. But on the other hand, on the flip side, Jesse has that in him, and he knows a thing or two about a jury. Now, he might not have gotten to speak his case to a jury, but he's been in a jury, so he knows, how it feels to be a part of the jury and what you have to do to appeal to to him in the jury. And I think this is where Jesse was trying to make a statement like, I am a villain, because throughout the show, people did not see him as a villain. Some people even question why he was on the show. Now, if you watch Big Brother, you would know why Jesse was on the show, because he is a villain on the show, but he's a villain in a different kind of way. He's not the villain that's going to be strategic and manipulation and all that. He's a villain because he's cocky, he's arrogant, he gets on he grates your nerves with being good at things, and he knows he's good at it, and he's going to let you know he knows he's good at it. And it's just a different villain style, but still a villain nonetheless, in my opinion. Again, all of this is my opinion. Y'all know, take it with a grain of salt. But I think in the moment that Wes and Jesse were going back and forth, they were trying to show, they will at the last hour of showing the jury why they are villains instead of the laid back personalities that they showed in the house. So it was that. I thought it was interesting to see that. But we saw Wes running around the house talking to everybody, trying to get them to vote. We had conversations with New York and Victoria, trying to figure out who they wanted to vote for. And one thing that just keep, I mean, and no, I mean, I feel like Victoria was like, I know you're going to vote for Safari because of the relationship that New York and Safari had. And she assumed that. I don't like when people assume in games, because you just never know what people are feeling. Friendship is one thing. I have played games with a lot of friends and love them to death. Will do anything for them outside of a game, but will cut them in a minute if they are not for me, or I will vote against them if they are, if that's the best move for my game. And so to assume that she probably will vote for Safari because of their relationship that they had in the house is interesting. I mean, I get it. I understand why. Please don't think I'm just coming at Victoria. I understand why. Because Safari and New York did have a relationship prior to the house, and then in the house they go closer. So it's nice, and it's probably like, yeah, you'll probably go vote for Safari. But never assume in games. Never assume. Always fight and always think that it could go either way. Um it really was a lot of fluff until we get to the end. Until we get to the actual um crowning of the supervillain of the season. We did have a conversation where Candy was talking to, after her conversation with Wes, she called Safari and was like, hey, listen, he's out here talking to everybody. Are you going to do that? And Safari was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go around and talk to everybody because I feel like the relationships that I've built with people in this house are strong enough to get me through this. And I don't have to beg anybody for anything. I showed what I could do. I proved my worth. I proved my villainous. I proved my villain. So I don't have to go push. I don't have to go and beg anybody. I'm not doing it. I'm not kissing nobody's ass. I'm not doing it. And it was just like, okay, that was his choice. And fine. Some people might agree with it, some might not, but it was his choice. So we get to the ceremony, and they do their opening statements, and Safari basically said the same thing he told Candy. He was like, I fought my way through this. I was supervillain week 1. I was on the hit list week after week, and I survived week after week. So I feel like I've shown you. I have won redemptions. I have won challenges. I have been on the block. I've been on the block on eviction night, and I still was here. So that shows where my social, like, I think he should have said that. It shows where my social skills are, but he didn't say that. But he said, I have been here and I've been fighting. So I have proved to everybody what I can do and why I'm a villain. So give me the money. I would appreciate your vote. Period. I'm not kissing nobody's ass. I'm not going around talking to everybody. Because he started off there, raise your hand if I came up to you and asked and begged you for a vote. Nobody could say he did that. He was like, and I wasn't going to because I feel like I proved what I could do in this game. Period. And that's it. And I was like, okay, all right, Safari, I see you. It was interesting. And so Wes, his plea was, his first opening statement was that I've done something. Because Joe asked him what was the most villainous thing. That's the thing. Joe asked him what's the most villainous thing that they did. Safari's was hugging Camilla, telling her she was safe, knowing he was voting her out. He was like, I knew I was voting her out. Even when I was telling her I wasn't, I knew I was because I knew there was nothing I could do to save her. She was done. But I didn't want her to think that I would do that. So I told her she was safe, and I promised her that she had my vote, knowing that she didn't. Wes's villainous thing that he said he did was that um he his secret alliance with New York, because they knew each other from a show that they did right before doing House of Villains. And so he said, we made this secret alliance that nobody knew about, and that we were working together, and we didn't really have to, I got her as far as I could, and nobody knew that. And he was like, but I knew 3 seconds in when she walked in the door that she was somebody who I wanted to work with, and I did. So that was Wes's super villainous thing. And Jesse's villainous thing was that he got rid of Candy, knowing that they were close allies, and she was one of his closest allies towards the end of the game, but got rid of Candy because knowing sitting next to Candy, he would have lost. So there was that. So the question, Joe opens up the questions to the house, and Candy was like, "We really only got one question for Wes, and we'll talk about this immunity note and the necklace or whatever." So they want to know what that was about. So Wes pulls it out and was like, "Joel, could you tell them if this is real or not?" And so Joel looks at it, was like, "It is a necklace, but it has nothing to do with this show. It's fake." And Wes was like, "I used that to parlay my time in this game because I was for sure going to be on Candy's hit list." And Candy was like 100%. And he was like, "I used it so, and when I showed her that and flashed it to her, I was then taken off the hit list because it makes no sense in her eyes to put me on it when she thinks I have immunity." And this didn't sit well with some people. Some people were like, okay. So Larson was like, "Oh, basically you cheated." And Candy was pissed because she got played. And literally, that's all it was. All of them were pissed because they got played with that immunity necklace that was made up. And Victoria brought up a point. It was like, "Didn't y'all not see season 1 where Johnny Bananas wrote the letter, his own letter? It's following the pattern." And so Wes is like, hmm. So Richard Hatch, of all people, came to Wes's aid and was like, "This is the game. He outsmarted you. He played you, and you just feel upset because you got played. But this is the game, and this is a house of villains. It's about being villainous and malicious and duping people and lying to people, and that is what he did. So I don't understand how y'all upset. Here's the thing, and here's where I said you need to read the room, is where it's so important, because this is a game where it's not just people who've been in games like Survivor and Big Brother and The Challenge who did competitions like that, where it puts you in a position to manipulate and lie and be deceitful and all of those things. They don't come from that world. They don't come from that. We have housewives who are petty and liars and manipulators for other reasons, not for a prize. They're just doing it because that's just how rich women are supposed to be, and that's how they are. Um, I'm not rich, so I wouldn't know that. Then you have people like Larissa from 90 Day Fiance. They don't understand that. Candy is from Drag Race. You just have to win lip syncs and serve looks and do some performances. You don't have to lie and manipulate and do all that stuff on Drag Race. So yeah, it doesn't sit well with them. And same thing with Bad Girls Club. She doesn't have to do that. She goes and fights, and she goes and they have petty stuff, but it's not for a competition to win money in the end. So they don't come from that world. They come from a world of just being bitter and petty and fighting and winning lip syncs and things like that. So it's not in their nature for that to happen. So when Wes does it, it makes them feel personally attacked, like it was kind of gross. So they didn't like it. But Rich was like, "But that's the game. You need to respect the game." Two different worlds. Two different worlds. And that is the problem what Wes ran into with this group of people, that he didn't understand that they don't all work like you. And same thing with Jesse. They don't all work like you. Safari was from someone that's not even that world, not even a competition show at all. It's just it's just not that. And so he didn't even go into it with the same perspective as Wes and Jesse, where he was just like, "I'm not gonna do all that for I'm just gonna come and be me. I'm just gonna come and do what I do, and you go respect that. It is what it is." And so it was wild to see how Jesse and Wes took on this, and how Safari took on it differently from them, and how the reactions from Wes revealing that the immunity thing that he had was fake. He made it up and brought it himself. So there was that. They were ready to vote at that point. They were like, let's just vote. Like, let's just vote. I've heard enough. I've heard enough. Let's just go vote. And they voted. But this time, Joe says, but you will vote live right here in front of everybody. You don't get to go and hit the tablet. You just have to say your vote. Okay. So it starts with Victoria. Victoria votes for Wes. Wes is like, she's like, I do. I vote for Wes. I think he played the best game. Goes to Rich. Rich votes for Wes. Goes to Larsa. Larsa votes for Safari. Goes to Camila. Camila votes for Safari. Goes to Larissa. Larissa votes for Wes. Goes to Candy. Candy votes for Safari. Um, Goes to Teresa. Teresa votes for Safari, which leaves it down. Jesse's out at this point. Jesse has no votes, but it's 4-3 Safari, 4 Safari, 3 West. And it comes down to New York. And New York, in all her New York grandeur, votes for West to tie it up 4-4. So after yelling at this person, calling this person a little bitch on national television, telling him he shouldn't even be there. He puppeted, he brought him there, he made sure he got there. Wes's hands lies in the hands of Jesse. Jesse is now the vote to just between Wes and Safari for winning House of Villains. And so Jesse is now cheesing up the moment. He is milking this moment for everything that is worth. Everything that is worth. He's like, yep. Mm-hmm. And so Joel is going to let Wes and Safari plea their case to Jesse. And Jesse says, wait, hold on. Wes, if you want to win, I can tell you how you can win. And Wes is like, all right, tell me. Jesse looks this man in the face, in the eye, and says, beg. Get on your knees and beg me like you begged all of this. Oh, wait, before we even get to that, because the votes went the way they went was because Wes said his closing plea was that the $200,000 will go into a trust for his daughter so she can go to college or she can have money when she becomes older. And he was pleading, he was like, and if your vote, you'll be voting for that girl's future, this 5-month-old's future. She'll be a millionaire when she turns 18 because of this money, and it's sitting in the trust, and it will, grow interest and yada yada yada. And Jesse's was, I'm the sole provider for my family. I need this money to help my family, just like all of you. And we, you should vote for me. Please vote for me. Please vote for me. I've done everything I could. Safari's was what I said earlier about how he didn't go around asking folks for votes. He just feel like he showed what he did. So that's why the votes went that way. Want to clear that up. But 4-4, Jesse is telling Wes he needs to get on his knees and beg him. Because just yesterday, you were calling me a coward. You called me out my name. You called me all of this stuff. You want my vote. You got to beg for it. And at first, Wes was looking like, you want me to beg? He's like, but then you can take back your word. He was like, that's a risk you going to have to take. And Wes is like, is the risk worth it? Is the risk worth it? And he says, you know what, screw it. And he got down on his knees and he begged Jesse. He said, I am begging you, vote for me. I am a loser. I am a coward. I'm everything that you said I am. Vote for me. Please, please, please. And Jesse looked that man in the eye and then looked up at Safari, back to West, and up to Safari and said, Safari, congratulations, you won $200,000. And I screamed. I screamed. This was the most villainous move from Jesse that we have seen all season. This man made this man get on his knees and and beg him, only to still give his vote to Safari. Some people might have mixed feelings about it. Here's the thing, and I get it. I get it. I understand both sides of the coin. I get why people are like, that was a crap move. That was a dick move from you, Jesse. You shouldn't have did that. You didn't need to do that. That was unnecessary. West played the better game. He should have won. Based on gameplay, 100% West should have won this game 100%. Where Wes went wrong is he did not read the room for the jury, because that sob story at the end, Candy, Camila, uh, Teresa, Larsa all felt like, well, maybe not Teresa, but all felt like that point you didn't care about anybody else's sob story, and you vocalized how you don't care about anybody's sob story. All of them were up there playing for their families. Camila was crying on her way out about her son and why this money was important to her, for her kids. And Candy was crying on her way out about how her mom working at Walmart and how this $200,000 would be great to help get that, for her family. People have been giving sob stories the whole time, and you vocalize how you didn't care. This is not about sob stories. This is House of Villains, and we're supposed to be villains. And then you turn around at the end and expect your sob story to win. He did not read and understand the room. You can't vocalize how you don't care about anybody's sob story, and then on your way out want to give people a sob story, because it's like, girl, bye. Don't care. Anyway, moving on. What next? And Jesse, he just wasn't going to get it because people didn't like him, unfortunately. But what Jesse did in this moment is he made them respect him as the villain that he is on television. He's a villain on television, and he's wanted to show them why. I personally enjoyed the move. I personally enjoyed it. I was like, absolutely, because Wes has been walking around this house with an air of arrogance and cockiness. Some deserved, because he played the game. He played the game. It was a great game that he played, but he did it in such a way that he didn't he didn't smooth it over with the people on their way out. He didn't make the jury on their way out feel better about themselves. And that's just the lack of not playing a game with juries. He don't know. He don't know. When he plays the challenge, it's all about winning challenges, getting to the finals, and running a great race. And if you win that, you're good. He's never played a game like this where he had to deal with a jury situation and deal with people's emotions. So I get it. He had bad jury management. Everybody can't have great jury management, especially out the gate. So I don't dislike Wes, and I think Wes played the best game that he could play. But what happens when you put gamers in games with people who are not gamers, you have to learn to draw the line. We saw the same thing with Davon on the GOAT. She would play the best game, should have won. But when you have gamers who take the game very seriously, and you put them in a room, in a position with people who are not gamers, who don't play like that, who weren't on competition shows like that, then it's a situation, and it's a fine line you have to cross. And West just didn't cross it well. And then when it comes down to a tie vote, and Jesse, the man you called a bitch, the man you got upset about, the man you cursed out and yelled at and said we ain't friends, and you mad at him, you hate him, all this other stuff. It's now down to him to make the sole decision. Oh, like it's like karma. It's like wow. It's like it was Chef's kiss. I look, production may have played a part in it. I don't know, but you couldn't have wrote it better, and it just played out. And for him, I think if Wes would have looked at that man and said, "Screw you, I'm not getting on my knees for nobody." Because the only person I get down on my knees for and beg and pray for mercy is to God. I wouldn't do it. I don't know if Jesse would have respected it and gave him the money or still gave it to Safari, but either way, I wouldn't have done it. But because he did it, it took away his credibility as the villain in that moment. In my eyes, you might not agree with me. And that's fine. To me, I'm like, Wes, you should just tell them, screw you, F off. I'm not doing that. Just give the money to Safari if you want to. But a villain don't beg. I am not begging you, not doing it. But it was a risk, and he took the risk. And I know why he took the risk, because he's still trying to play for his family. All of that goes on in your mind. It's like, do I play it? Do I risk that? Do I humiliate myself on television for this moment? My daughter's worth it. So I would do it. And so he did it. And it makes sense. And I get it. I understand it. Trust I do. But in that moment, I was like, oh, you lost a little villainous in that moment. But that's what kids do to you. And I'm not a parent, but I have nieces and nephews who warm my heart, and I would do anything for them. I would probably have done the same thing, because I would think about what that money would do for their future. Honestly, would have did the same thing. I would have did the same thing. But I get, this was just a personal thing for Jesse. Jesse was like, yeah, no. Yeah, no, what you not gonna do is sit here and call me out my name like that on national television and expect me to just grant you $200,000. Not happening. But I thought that moment was so funny. Jesse ate that up. I'm gonna give you your flowers, Jesse. You ate that up. I was very happy. It showed your villain era that you were in, and showed why you were on that show. And I think some of those people needed to see that, because they didn't really think you should have been there. Respect. This is House of Villains. I respect villains. This is what we're supposed to. This is what you were there for. Like, if this isn't House of Best Friends, this is House of Villains. So you want the villainous things to win, and it happened. For Safari, though, congratulations to him, because I do think Safari was a good villain in this show, but he played it in I want to say, a nuanced way. He had the opportunity to be super villain the first week, and he had to pay for those his list, the people who he put up throughout the show. But he kept coming back. He clawed, he fought, he won. He had social connections to help him get there. I think he did a fantastic job, and I think he's a deserving winner of House of Villains. I love that 2 years in a row, 2 seasons, House of Villains have been won by somebody who is not a gamer. We had a Bad Girls Club member in Tanisha, and now we have Love and Hip Hop and Safari. Two shows that are not about, winning competitions and trying to impress the jury or anything like that. They just came in and were themselves, and they were victorious. And I love that for Safari. I love that for Tanisha. Congratulations to Safari. He ate that up. Good job. Overall, I say House of Villains was a great season. I was very entertained from beginning to end. I enjoyed the new twist. I hope they do more twists next season and add, make continuity in the twist. Like, we only had one cop blocker the entire season, and I felt like we could have did a couple more. maybe make the season longer, bring in more people like how y'all brought in Larsa. Somebody go out, somebody come in. And it's like, oh, how many people will we have to do? It's like the circle. How many people will have to come in before we finally get to the set amount of people? But that's time, and I hope they are able to do that. This was a great season, though. I enjoyed it. I think the winner is very much deserved. We got the drama, we got the villains, we got the villainous behavior, we got the fights, everything that you expect from House of Villains, the campiness, the corniness, the cheesiness, all of it was there, and it was good. And I was entertained. So overall, great season. I hope they get a season 3, and I will be sad to watch it. Absolutely. But that is it. That's all I gotta say, y'all. That's the whole thing. I appreciate you all spending the time with me and talking about House of Villains. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought about this season. Do you agree with me about how I feel about Jesse, or are you Team West? Let me know. I'd love to hear it. Please subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to all of our other channels. All those links will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links, so you can follow us there. If you need to listen to us on the go, our Patreon is down there as well, so you can get our early access to all of our early access and exclusive content across all 4 channels. All of our end of the year things will be on our Patreon early. You can follow us. You can follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky Lady J78 is where it is. You can follow the Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky as well. That's all I got. That's it. Thanks for joining me for another amazing season of House of Villains. They do season 3. We'll be right back here. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video once it drops. And don't forget to get your cup merch, not limited to, but including our cup mug. And we're going to get out of here. So cheers, y'all. Cheers. Bye.